Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are back for another exciting season of the NASCAR GT Cup Series here on the Gran Turismo 7 game. And we are here for round 5 of the 2024 season. Northern Isle Speedway, folks. One of, I think about 4 or 5 oval events on the 22 race schedule this season. 150 laps, 13 cars ready to rock and roll. Kind of a sold-out crowd here. Look at everybody filling the stands. Much like Bristol Motor Speedway, high banks, high speed, nowhere to hide. The green flag has been shown. We're underway. The 3-time NASCAR GT Cup Series champion, Even Steven, is on the pole for today's race. 150 laps go by in a heartbeat. There we go. 150 laps go by in a heartbeat here at Northern Isle Speedway. We are already on lap 3. Excuse me, lap 2. A strong start. There's a bit of a gap between 5th and 6th, but other than that, everybody is still pretty much grouped together here. A conveyor belt of race cars working their way around Northern Isle Speedway, reaching speeds, I would say about 150 miles an hour, but that's a good question for one of our drivers out there. We do have in-race reporters here today. 150 top speed we're hearing from in-race reporter Alex Tesdall, former NASCAR Novice Cup Series champion. Also being joined by Jeffrey Robinson Jr., former NASCAR Supercross champion, among other series. Aiden Cody as well, former NASCAR World Championship race winner. Sam Chapman is here. Connor Brown is here. They're all here, folks. Steven working his way through 1 and 2 now. Now down the back straightaway. JRB holds on to 3rd. 2.7 seconds behind your race leader. Alex Tesdall with a strong start in the Mercedes. Runs in 4th. Strong start for Shadow. Speeding GR3 in the BMW holds on to 5th. There is Bill Baldwin, the Godfather, folks. Driving the BRZ, the Subaru, running in 6th. The RS Racing machine. Chevy Corvette there running in 7th. Skyler making his debut here in the 2024 season. Running a BRZ as well, teammates with Bill Baldwin. Leading the pass there and actually taking 7th away from RS Racing, who appears to have a bit of a tire rub early in this race. Heavy smoke coming from RS Racing. There is Bailey Steffler in the Nissan GTR. He is the points leader, finished on the podium this year for the 8 Hours of Daytona, which was also round 1 to kick off the season. His teammate is Juicy J, who scored in 10th, just behind him. And this is kind of typical for the Nissan GTRs. They don't qualify very good here at Northern Isle Speedway. They are very consistent when it comes to lap times and their tire wear as the race goes along, but not necessarily known for their raw pace. They will be a bit behind the 8 ball here for this one, but those Nissan GTRs should be pretty darn strong throughout the course of the 22 race season. There is Ace Jr. 3 Canadians in tonight's field. Ace scored in 11th in the Porsche. Rounding out the field in the Beetle, there's Kyle Bowers, Showtime, and now he just got passed there by Crazy Legs, and now around goes Kyle Bowers. Showtime up against the inside wall in the front straightaway. Heavy damage to that machine. He gets it going again, but it cost him a ton of track time. He goes 1 lap down and now falls in behind the 7th place car of Speedy GR3. Juicy J went to pit road immediately after. There might have been contact between the two. I'll check that now that we're looking at the replay and gathering some data here. Juicy J was actually in front of Showtime when this incident occurred. CWI is on pit road already. The tire wear is going to be a serious factor here in tonight's race. A lot of pit stops throughout this one. Even Steven still your leader. and the BMW finished second in the 8 Hours of Daytona this year. It's a wild, thrilling battle between him and yours truly for that top spot for the Crown Jewel event this year. It's looking pretty strong here so far at Northern Isle Speedway. He's got the lead. He's yet to come to pit road, so that must mean the tire wear is looking all right so far here for the three-time champion. JRB, another Subaru BRZ out there. There's 3 of them out there in today's field. Runs in second and doesn't seem to be losing too much ground. Even Steven at this juncture of the run, 5.5 seconds separates the two. And we're getting word there's some sort of glitch happening with GCJ. He's stuck on pit road and unable to leave his pit stall. We're hoping this doesn't happen to everybody, and that's a tough break for one of the drivers who was running inside the top 10. Skyler is going to surrender third and bring it to pit road. Bill Baldwin runs in third now. He'll take over that podium spot. Shadow's going to take over fourth. I don't believe any of the top 4 cars have been to pit road just yet. Ace Jr. has not been to pit road either. He runs in fifth. Steffler on pit road, Speedy GR3 on pit road, Skyler on pit road taking hard tires. The tire wear is pretty extreme here tonight, or excuse me, today rather, at Northern Isle Speedway. Thank you to everybody who took the time to join us here on the NOSSCAR Series Racing YouTube channel. It's round 5 of the 2024 NOSSCAR GT Cup Series season. The GR3 cars with the balance of performance setting turned on here on Gran Turismo 7. 150 laps at Northern Isle Speedway. 13 cars started this race. They're all still on the track, still digging, and they're all chasing the three-time champion, Even Steven, on the pole for this race. And he had the fastest race lap for quite some time, but now that belongs to CWI, who's already been to pit road for service. Probably didn't fuel the car completely to the top, so the car's a little bit lighter. Andy was on pressure tires, so he probably laid down a hot lap while he was able to do that. Expect Even Steven and JRB and some of these other cars to maybe challenge for that fastest race lap once they come in and get their service and get some fresh tires as well. There were certain strategies that these drivers were going to deploy in this race, and some of them had pretty much all to do with what car that they were in. Remember, you can't switch cars. Whatever car you have from the start of the season is your car all season, as we see the leader jump down pit road, the defending champion, Even Steven, going to pit for the first time today. JRB is going to stay out another lap. But certain strategies were going to be deployed based on what car they were in. They knew these drivers. They knew that their cars, they specialize in something, whether that's longevity or speed. It was up to them to figure it out, and up to them to figure out a good strategy for this race based on their car's performance, their car's strengths and weaknesses. For example, the Nissan GTRs get great fuel mileage, pretty good on the tire wear as well. You know, the BMWs are pretty darn good on the tire wear as well. And other cars that are going to rely heavily on speed, they're not worried about tire wear whatsoever. They're out there pushing their hardest lap after lap, and they're trying to get as far out ahead of the other cars that might pit one or two less times throughout this race. It's going to come down to who can execute the proper strategy for the proper car they're in and execute it the best. And that's going to be your race winner here today at Northern Isle. I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, these 150 laps fly by. We're already on working lap 36. JRB crosses the start-finish line this time by. It's complete lap 35. Still holding strong out front. Bill Baldwin runs in second, and Even Steven has already made a green flag pit stop. He's running third, 7.2 seconds behind your race leader and gaining. CWI, the fastest race lap so far in this one with a 13.976, running fourth. Skyler runs in fifth. Not too far behind CWI either. There's about 4 cars just in front of your race leader. They're on your screen just right there for you. JRB's got a lot of work to do in that Red Bull car. I'm impressed with the longevity so far by JRB. He's went a significant amount of distance further than a lot of these other drivers on the fuel and tires. Some cars pit about 10 laps ago, some cars pit about 20 laps ago, 18 laps ago, and now we got a crash on the back straightaway. Excuse me, it's in turn 1 rather. RS Racing was involved, Crazy Legs was involved. And I think Showtime might have been the other car. There was 3 of them in total involved in that most recent incident.
Skylar was in there.
Skylar was the other car involved. We're getting a report there. He runs in 7th, so he was the highest running car involved in that most recent incident. Major damage, I don't think, to that machine. The worst, the driver who got the worst end of the deal was most definitely RS Racing. He fell back a few spots and now is outside of the top 10, running in 11th. UCJ, former NOSSCAR Supercross champion and former champion with us on NASCAR 15 Victory Edition many years ago, still stuck on pit road with some sort of issue. In the world of sim racing, we call that an engine failure. Technical difficulty and put him out of this race, unfortunately, with still over 100 laps remaining in Northern Isles Speedway. JRB continues to lead, but even Steven is really running him down. He's already pit as well. JRB is not. So unless JRB is able to really push his fuel and tires another 15, 20 laps, so that way even Steven and himself can pit again, but at the same time, I really don't know what the strategy is going to be here for JRB. There might be no use. It might be one of those even Steven type of races here yet again in the NASCAR GT Cup Series. 44 career NASCAR GT Cup Series wins for the driver of the BMW leading this race. That is the most all-time, second most. You have to look all the way down the list to Bill Baldwin, JRB. They have 9 apiece. Folks, even Steven back out front, the 3-time NASCAR GT Cup Series champion, showing us why he's a 3-time champion. Going for 4 here in 2024. Back out front at Northern Isles Speedway, taking a short break from commentary. You're watching round 5 of the NASCAR GT Cup Series season, 2024 GT Cup Series season, posted right here on Gran Turismo 7. And we're back, folks. And remember at the top of the broadcast when I mentioned that these laps are going to fly on by. We've only been racing for 17 minutes and we are already working lap 70 in this 150 lap race. We are pretty much halfway. We're going to be halfway at about the 18.5 minute mark of this race. Very much reminiscent of Bristol Motor Speedway, a high banked oval about a half mile in distance. 150 laps on the schedule here tonight, or excuse me, today rather, for round 5 of the 2024 NASCAR GT Cup Series season hosted here on Gran Turismo 7. Not all these races are going to be broadcasted to you on the NASCAR Series Racing YouTube channel, so we're very happy and very fortunate to bring you live flag-to-flag coverage of this one. Brought you live flag-to-flag coverage of all 8 hours of this year's NASCAR 8 hours of Daytona, so if you missed that one, be sure to go back and check that one out as well. 7 cars running at the end of the show this year for the 8 hours of Daytona, and that's more than usual. JRB is your leader. He's got a 3.8 second gap over Even Steven. Both of them made a pit stop during our commercial break. Bill Baldwin runs in 3rd. Speed and GR3 scored in 4th in the BMW there. The Mercedes of Shadow having a great run. Skyler right behind him in 6th. That is a tightly contested battle there between those two. There's about 4 cars that you could throw a blanket on top of that are working their way into turn 1 right now. Coming out of turn 2 and now into 3. 3 different lines being used by 3 different kinds of cars. These GR3 cars with the balance performance tuning turned on makes for a very interesting show, brings these cars much more even and much more equal than they would have been without that setting turned on, and it really opens the door for a lot of these drivers to park it in victory lane, maybe some of them for the very first time. JRB still leads. Bill Baldwin just came back off of pit road. I believe that is his 2nd pit stop of the event. We are past halfway now and approaching the 20-minute mark of this race. Career NASCAR GT Cup Series wins for JRB, and now he's going to hand the lead over to Even Steven, and now he might lose this spot here. It's not for position, but a bit of a rough pass there by Skyler through turns 1 and 2, that most recent time by. Put Even Steven back out front in the BMW M6, the endurance model, and showing quite a bit of longevity and endurance. Within the first half or first 55-60% of this event, he's continuing to put cars 1 lap down. I apologize, folks, I'm reviewing data here while covering this event for everybody. There's Bill Baldwin running in 3rd, comes into this race 4th in the point standings, driving the Subaru BRZ. There's 3 of them out there in today's field for today's event. Had a bit of a heartbreaking finish to kick off the 2024 season, finishing 7th in the 2024 NASCAR 8 Hours of Daytona, the very first time he has ever finished outside of the podium for one of our 8-hour endurance events. Up now to challenge JRB, and that is a battle for 2nd. Oh, never mind, no it isn't. JRB is a full lap over Bill Baldwin still. Bill's got to go all the way around the racetrack still. Back up to JRB and a challenge for that second place position. The question is, can he do that before pit stop cycles begin yet again? It appears that he does have the much fresher tires at this point. A little bit of contact made there. But he and Crazy Legs driving the number 1 lime green Chevy Corvette there. Steffler, one of 3 Canadians in today's event, running in 10th in the Nissan GTR. Told me before the race began he would be thrilled with a top 10 finish in this one. He understands and he knows that the Nissan GTR is a little underpowered when it comes to Northern Isle Speedway. And even Steven on pit road. It's a little earlier than I expected him to be back to pit road. I think that means he's pitting 2 more times before the end of this race. I think this gives the advantage to JRB because I think JRB is able to make it on only 1 more stop, but that's yet to be determined here. We've got another 58 laps to find out together. Second now, former NASCAR GT Cup Series champion, former NASCAR Super GT Series champion as well when we had that series in the GR1 cars, the prototypes. Trying to run down his good buddy JRB, and he's gaining on him. 10.6 seconds behind him, and it is dropping pretty rapidly. The only problem is Bill's got a lot of traffic in front of him that he needs to negotiate his way past, and he's also got even Steven coming up on him, and that is a change per second. Put the 3-time champion Even Steven back up into second place. So now he is about 10 seconds behind your race leader JRB and looking to close. We often overlook it. JRB, a former champion in the NOSSCAR Super Formula Series. Love the look of that Red Bull number 12. Subarus are running 1, 3, and 6, and we're getting a report from one of our in-race reporters. What do you got for us?
The fastest actual strategy is just running on the rim, essentially, because pitting loses too much time. I've only pitted once so far, and I'm still in 4th, while Shadow has pitted 8 times.
10-4. And that is a report there from Speed GR3. Defending NASCAR Platinum Cup Series champion on NASCAR Heat 5. He's scored in 4th. Giving us word here that it is faster and better strategy to just go all out, go 100% as fast as you can. Don't worry about the amount of pit stops. Try to get as much ground as you possibly can. And it makes sense to me here as we have 50 laps remaining at Northern Isle Speedway. It makes perfect sense to me because for these long distance races, it really does pay off, it seems, in these GR3 cars with the balance of performance setting on to really run hard. Use the top speed to your advantage and not necessarily worry about pitting 1 or 2 fewer times throughout the race. The race is long enough to the point where the speed will prevail 9 times out of 10. And for that 1 time out of 10, you're just the one, you're hoping that you're the one that had it all figured out, and you're the one on the right side of the fuel strategy that day. And we've got a battle for the lead. Here he comes. Even Steven to the inside of JRB through 3 and 4. He clears them. That was out of 1 and 2. Now they're in 3 and 4. 45 laps to go as the leaders complete lap 105. And the question becomes, how many more times does Even Steven have to pit? How many more times does JRB have to pit? Who's got the strategy right here? I think that Even Steven is in the driver's seat at this point. Now I'm leaning a bit more towards them both needing to pit 1 more time each. And really this race was only going to catapult itself back into the lap of JRB if even Steven needed to pit 2 more times. Even then, it was going to be a close race between the two. JRB, a master of strategy here at Northern Isle Speedway. He's won 2 NOSSCAR GT Cup Series races at this track in this car. Excuse me, one of them in this car. The other one in the Toyota FT1, no longer eligible in this series. A Vision car, fictional car with way too much horsepower. It's been outlawed here for the GT Cup program. Running in 4th, he's got Skyler all over his back bumper. Oh, and it's not a battle for position. Skyler needs to go all the way around again to challenge him for that 4th place position, and that's the 2nd or 3rd time that we've seen Skyler make a pretty aggressive and pretty forceful pass on one of his opponents. Skyler doing a terrific job in that Mercedes. Got wins this year in 2024 for the NASCAR Motormaster Series and Tailgate Truck Series, both of which hosted on NASCAR Heat 5. He's on fire in terms of the 2024 calendar year. Now Steffler running in 7th, and this is... Oh, there was contact there between he and Skyler. Skyler continuing to drive very aggressive in this race. That was another close call, and that would have been involving the points leader, Bailey Steffler. Driver out of Canada, 3 Canadians in this race. Steffler now going to lose 7th to his good buddy Sam Chapman, Ace Jr. Got a chance to meet both of them a couple years ago, the Honda Toronto Indy. And Ace Jr. going to peel down pit road for what I think is going to be his final pit stop of this race. Just to quickly finish my story, both terrific guys to hang out with. I was thrilled to meet them and hang out and watch a good race there through the streets of Toronto. So we'll give them a couple of NOSSCAR t-shirts and a couple of NOSSCAR stickers. We'll see where Steffler is in the point standings after this race. Runs 8th right now. He's got the points lead. He knows his Nissan GTR is not the favorite here, to say the least, at Northern Isle Speedway, but he should be very strong for the remainder of the season. Three-time champ, Steven out front, won the pole for this race, has the fastest race lap. It's only by a couple of 1,000ths over CWI. JRB runs in 2nd, 7.1 seconds behind Even Steven, and he continues to lose a bit of ground every lap. I think Even Steven is at the point, though, where he's conserving a little bit. I don't think he's running the wheels quite as hard as he was earlier. I think he's managing that gap, and oh, there it is. Even Steven to pit road with 31 laps to go here at the Northern Isle Speedway. That's right on schedule. The last time he was on pit road was lap 90, so I do think that Even Steven is going to go to the end from here. The question is, can JRB? That's the only way JRB is going to have a chance. And now there's a crash in turn 4. It involves Skyler. Skyler was already spun on the back straightaway, and he was trying to get it going again, and then he came up right in front of somebody in turns 3 and 4, and then it sparked another crash. I think it was Crazy Legs that ran into him, but it wasn't Crazy Legs' fault. Skyler came up the track afterwards, and it looked like he was trying to throw a block on the competition, which is the last thing you want to do when they're coming about 40 miles an hour quicker than you're running. Now he drops back to 6th. Probably got a little bit of damage to deal with for the rest of this race. A few incidents in this race, nothing too major so far, nothing we can't handle here in the NASCAR GT Cup Series. Some of us might be thinking we're a little crazy, a little cuckoo for taking these beautiful GT3 cars to a half-mile high-banked oval similar to Bristol, like Northern Isle Speedway, but you know what, we are a little crazy. Here we are, 150 laps, round 5. It's coming to an end pretty quickly here, 24 laps to go. Race leader JRB at the line this time by as he works his way through 3 and 4. Even Steven just went around JRB, but he needs to go all the way around the track again and pass JRB again before the end of this race in order to pick up the W. It's going to be interesting to see if JRB can go the rest of the distance without pitting again. It's going to be the only way JRB steals the win away from Even Steven. Bill Baldwin, he might be able to pull this off. I know that he's in a bit better of a situation in terms of tires and fuel than Even Steven. The problem is Even Steven is catching both of these drivers rapidly. And with 20 laps to go, I think that he's got enough time to get there. It's going to be close. The Subaru's running at 1, 2, and 6 right now. BMW of Even Steven running in 3rd. BMW Speed and GR3 running in 4th. The Mercedes of Shadow runs in 5th. A shout out to Showtime and the Beetle. He qualified dead last for this race, and that's where he spent the first 20 laps of this race. He finds himself in 7th. He's a number of laps down, but he's rebounded into the top 10 and looking like he's going to finish there as well. The Porsche of Ace Jr. runs in 8th. Nissan GTR of Steffler, the points leader coming into this race, runs in 9th. Mistaken, that looks like a classic Skyline there for CWI. It's a GTR GT500 from 1999, running in 10th place. RS Racing and the Chevy Corvette runs in 11th. Chevy Corvette of Crazy Legs runs in 12th. 13 cars started the event, 12 of them left on the racetrack. 25 laps to go, 26 rather. JRB still the leader. Even Steven is closing quickly, 5.2 seconds behind your race leader. Look at 4.9, 4.8, like it is dropping. And Bill Baldwin's getting closer as well. Bill has closed the gap down to 1.8 seconds. He's got a chance still. But Even Steven's going to catch him before he catches JRB, and judging by the intervals, it's not easy to do that, but I think that they're actually going to catch each other. All three of them catch each other right around the same time. It's going to be close. Even Steven might catch Bill first, actually. Need a lot of time. Last couple of laps there, more than I expected. They're in heavy traffic. They work their way through 3 and 4. This entire group of about 6 or 7 cars. One wrong move, one minor mistake, and they're all going to crash together. He is. Even Stevens all over the back bumper of Bill Baldwin. 11 laps to go. JRB driving the wheels off that Subaru BRZ, looking to hang on for dear life. He's got a 2.2 second gap between himself and the second place car, Bill Baldwin. Even Steven has caught Bill, but he's having a tough time getting around Bill. He hasn't really tried to make the move yet. Now he's making the move. 9 laps to go in Northern Isle. Shadow's quietly worked his way into 4th in the Mercedes. He's got Skyler coming up behind him. It's not a battle for position, but Skyler's been a little bit rough in this race. Shadow might want to be on his toes. 8 laps remaining. 7.5. JRB clicking them off. His lap times anywhere from 13.9 to 15.1 seconds, depending on how aged their tires are. Skyler with a problem. I didn't see what happened, but he's slow in turns 1 and 2. He's still running in 6, but he lost a considerable amount of time there.
He spun after hitting my door.
10-4. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be welcome back. JRB's got the lead. 1.5 seconds with 6 laps to go. Can Even Steven get there? It's going to be close. And another thing to consider, if Even Steven can get within about a half a second or 6/10 of JRB, he's going to pick up a little bit of draft on the straightaways. It's 1 second. Even Steven's got the tire advantage. JRB's got the track position advantage. Like, he's going to need to move JRB, I'm pretty sure, to get this done. JRB looking for his 10th career NOSSCAR GT Cup Series win. Even Steven looking for his 45th. You can see the difference in accolades just from that one statement alone. Now he is about a half a second away, 2 laps remaining, 2.5 rather, and that's might not sound like much extra, but that's an eternity for JRB. 2 laps to go. The blue flag continues to wave almost constantly here on the flag stand, trying to get these lap cars out of the way for the race leaders. Through 3 and 4, coming out of 4, they see the white flag. The next time by will end this race. They'll see the checkered. Into 1 they go. JRB goes up the hill. Contact with the outside wall. Even Steven. I think Even Steven's out of gas. Even Steven is slow through 3 and 4. JRB is going to drive away. And 10th career win is going to go to JRB in the Subaru BRZ. Even Steven ran out of gas on the final lap. I think he underfueled for that last pit stop, trying to spend as little amount of time on pit road as he could. And that's what did it. That's what did him in. Wow. What a finish. Congratulations to Evel Knievel himself, folks. 10th career NOSSCAR GT Cup Series win for JRB. Subaru BRZ team going to celebrate with a strong 1-2 finish and a strong outing for the young development driver Skyler as well, picking up a top 10 as well. Thank you to everybody who joined us on YouTube. Congratulations to JRB, Bill Baldwin, Trenton Krentz, the entire podium. Shout out to drivers like Kyle Bowers and Alex Tesdahl, who were able to drive from the back up to the front and gain a lot of positions in this race. We'll update you on the point standings next time we see you, and until next time, we say so long and stay fast, folks.